Good afternoon. Welcome to your favorite Ivorian political activists. Welcome to all the diaspora. Thank you to all of you in the fourth corner of the globe. Thank you for all the Commonwealth, all English-speaking country who subscribe to my channel. Obviously, your curiosity is valid, and I'm here this afternoon to kind of talk to you about something important, to kind of unpick the political situation in Ivory Coast. Before I do so, I would like quickly to introduce Ivory Coast to some of you. I'm sure some of you have learned in geography in school. Very quickly, Ivory Coast is a small country in West Africa bordered by Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and Sierra Leone. And Liberia as well. Ivory Coast is a mineral-rich country. Yes, mineral-rich country. Is also the first producer of cocoa beans. And I will tell my friend here in Britain that the chocolate that you eat at home and all your chocolate fondue, most likely the seed of that cocoa beans is more likely coming from Ivory Coast. Also, we're the first producer of coffee beans. Again, the coffee you drink at Costa Coffee or Starbucks in America or over Europe is more likely to also come from Ivory Coast. So a very rich country, yet poor. And I won't go thoroughly in details why this is the case. Why is it poor? But I will just brush out on it a little bit for you. It's a very hospitable people in Ivory Coast. We are a very mosaic country. We've got nationality, people from all the world, different nationality. We all live in peace. Ivory Coast is a very, very peaceful country, and I encourage you, beautiful as well, a lot of nature reserve, a lot of safari. So I encourage you to look into Ivory Coast. If you fancy like going to Africa for your holiday, yeah, Kenya is, I know, it's a prominent destination for a lot of my British friend and American. But check Ivory Coast, okay? Very, very beautiful country. So, politically, the president of Ivory Coast is called Mr. Alassane Ouattara. Mr. Ouattara is a very well-educated financier. He worked at the IMF, International Monetary Fund. He was actually deputy director in the 80s. He's a technocrat. He was also prime minister of Ivory Coast in the 90s. He's an Ivorian. He's Ivorian. And Mr. Ouattara has got a love for his country, so he's been leading the country for the last 15 years. He's 83 years old. He served under the first president of Ivory Coast, Mr. Houphouët-Boigny. Mr. Ouattara has been in power for 3 terms, so 15 years now. In 2016, during his second term, Mr. Ouattara kind of encouraged the change of the constitution, so to allow him to run for another 2 terms. So altogether, that will make 4 terms. So starting 2010, Mr. Ouattara, according to the constitution, is eligible to run as Ivorian president, to run for presidency, and also be president of Ivory Coast till 2030, making out to go at 20 years in power. However, the constitution that was changed in 2016 had the approval through a referendum of the people of Ivory Coast. But what the problem is, that referendum was not well explained to Ivory Coast. There were a lot of voices that actually rose up from politicians and from educated powers, warning Ivorian that this constitution was actually, there was a trick there. That constitution was not valid because it would have allowed Mr. Ouattara to do a second term, then a third term, then a 4th term. Yet, the constitution was voted by Ivorian. So as we speak, today that constitution allowed legally Mr. Ouattara to run for a 4th term. And the opposition leaders have been crying out, saying that, no, you cannot run for a 4th term. But I believe, as every analyst of Ivory Coast political scenery, I believe that Mr. Ouattara, the opposition leaders would have accepted Mr. Ouattara to run for a 4th term if only it did not eliminate top runners of that presidential election coming up in October. So Mr. Ouattara was done using the constitution, using the judiciary power Because on the Ivory Coast, there's no such thing called democracy. There's no independence of power. No, all the powers are under control of the president. This is a fact. And that also is reciprocated from all countries in Africa. Anyway, there's no such democracy in Ivory Coast, and Ivory Coast is one of them. So, so all the other candidates has been eliminated. You got former President Mr. Laurent Gbagbo, the most popular man in Ivory Coast, very loved by the Ivorian. You got Mr. Tidiane Thiam, excellently educated in Europe and in America. He is a top dog when it comes to financial sectors and the financial market. He's run Aviva in Britain. He's run Prudential in Britain. He's been also CEO of Credit Suisse in Switzerland, an international bank that everyone knows about. Then you go former President Mr. Soro Guillaume, who served under Mr. Ouattara. Then you go Mr. Blake Goudet. So all these, Mr. Ouattara, using the judiciary system has been eliminating all these top runners. Therefore, he paves the way to Mr. Ouattara with weak contenders. And we all know against these contenders, he will definitely win the election. So this is what the problem has been. This has been the elephant in the room. So Ivory Coast and all the major political powers have been all crying out, saying, you either allow everyone to run or there will not be any election. On the other hand, Mr. Ouattara said, no, there will be an election. So you can see here, we can see here that there will be definitely a clash going on. There will be a clash on the eve of the election in Ivory Coast. So let's carry on. On the 29th of July, Mr. Ouattara made his speech for the candidacy. Okay, I translate in English for all my English audience, so you can understand what Mr. Ouattara, and having done a discourse analysis course at London Metropolitan University, I will be using my knowledge of unpicking this political speech and to inform you what was the hidden statement under what we all listen, all the Ivorian people listen on the 29th from Mr. Ouattara. So here we go. He started by saying, Mr. Ouattara started by saying, dear compatriot, in line with, and in conformity with the Constitution of the Third Republic, the presidential election will be held on Saturday, 25th of October, 2025. This contest will be to confirm the strength of our institution and our deeply rooted democracy. And as I indicated on so many previous occasions, all measures are being taken to allow calm, democratic, and transparent election. I would like to reassure you that we are putting everything in place to maintain a peaceful, stable, and safe climate that our country has been living through for many years. Dear compatriot, for many months now, I've been receiving several phone calls from you regarding my candidacy for the presidential election. Women, young people from all regions of the country, anonymous from neighborhoods, cities, and villages. In response to all these pledges and requests, I've announced on the 22nd that I needed more reflection time, after which I will make an informed decision whether to run or not, in the nation's interest. As you know, he carried on, in March 2020, I made a pledge to transfer power to a younger generation. I said it because I believe in the new generation. I'm also a man of my word, he said. That is why, during my entire professional career and during my leadership as head of state, I've always believed and stuck to my word. However, many experienced years as head of state have made me understand that the call of duty can sometimes relegate or undermine promises previously made in good faith. In fact, during my swearing-on oath, I took the decision to serve Ivory Coast, to protect its people, to reinforce its unity among all Ivorians, protect its national security and integrity, and work for the well-being of all Ivorian people. This is why, after careful consideration and with deep belief, I am announcing today that I have decided to be candidate for the 2025 election. Yes, carried on Mr. Ouattara, I'm candidate because our country constitution allows me to do so. I'm in good health and Our country is faced with unprecedented security threats and economic and financial challenges. Such situations require an experienced leader. In fact, carried on Mr. Ouattara, the terrorist threat is hugely concerning in our sub-Sahara region, along with international economic uncertainty. It is a reality that I do not ignore, and neither can I, and neither can you. I'm therefore candidate because I would like to reinforce the prosperity and the safety of our nation. Dear compatriot, during this new term, I will be passing the baton to a new generation that will set up. We will consolidate our gains and carry on improving our citizens' lives, mainly the more vulnerable. We will carry on our development with peace, stability, and prosperity policies. You can trust me. I'm determined and devoting all my energy to our dear nation and all its inhabitants. May God bless you. Thank you. So this is Mr. Ouattara's speech. Okay? Translated obviously in English. I did that so you know the background of what has been going on. Now, let's unpick this speech. Okay? This speech itself lasted 5 minutes, 20 seconds. On the 19th second in the speech, Mr. Ouattara said, quote, "The election will be to confirm the strength of our institution and our deeply rooted democracy." End quote. No, Mr. President. The election do not strengthen institution nor democracy. Democracy and beyond is obviously the power of people who choose someone. It's a mandate given to a president by his people. And this mandate is a deal. I'm giving you my vote. I want you to be president because I want better health service. I want better school, better education for my children. I want you to create jobs. I want a fair, a justice system. I want a good environment I can live in. So by being voted by the Ivorian people or under the logo of democracy, it's an exchange. It's a deal the population make with a president, and in this case, with you. But can you really talk about democracy in Ivory Coast? I would say, personally, no. You mentioned a strong institution. There isn't a strong institution, Mr. Ouattara, because how many journalists, how many people today, on the name of free speech, are in prison in Ivory Coast? How many people that are in prison because they don't agree with your policy? How many have lost their jobs because they don't agree with your policies? So there's no strong institution in Ivory Coast. Now, let's carry on, Mr. President. Election, again, as I said, do not consolidate strength of an institution. Let me take a little example. Ukraine. This country in Europe, formerly prosperous, sadly, has been imposed a war by Russia. There hasn't been election. The president, because obviously the environment doesn't allow it, yet Ukraine is still a democratic country. There has not been election, but it's still a democratic country. Just to tell you, Mr. President, that election do not make democracy necessarily. Okay? So, saying what you said, for me, is short-sighted. Mr. Ouattara, you carried on by saying this. On the 32nd of your speech, all measures are being taken to allow calm, democratic, and transparent election. We are putting everything in place to maintain peaceful, stable, and safe climate. End quote. Here, Mr. Ouattara, your body language first. Let me start with the body language. You intertwine your fingers. And this, it creates an idea of a net. So by doing that, you're creating a net. And a net here is a symbol of security, of strength, which is perfect. So you're telling us that Ivory Coast, under your leadership, is secure and is got strength. like it's united. No one can break this strength because if I do this, it's difficult to break. So you're giving security, you're giving assurance to Ivorian people, which for me is very good, Mr. President. Now, let's carry on a bit further. On the 32nd of your speech, you said, Mr. Ouattara, uh, sorry, on the 1 minute 5 second, you say I've been receiving several phone calls from compatriots, women, people, and from anonymous from neighborhood, cities, and villages. Yes, obviously, Mr. Ouattara, by using this image here, you're portraying your popularity. That Ivorian need you to run for this election. I am not sure whether it's the majority of the people that would like you to run for this election. I do believe, like recent surveys have shown that you're quite unpopular because the most popular candidates are from the opposition side. So you're using here the population to bail out your unfair and your illegal candidacy here, Mr. President. This is the strategy that you use to certify that illegal candidacy of yours. And by doing that, using the people, saying that the people you've been receiving mails and phone calls from the people, you are actually giving yourself self-assurance. You are trying to reassure yourself that I'm in a good. I am not illegal. You're trying to legitimate again your run for presidency. You don't need to. Good president that know that they legally upholding the constitution, the democracy in the country, do not need to prove. You don't have to prove anything because everyone knows. So here you're using a self-reassurance, a legitimization for what legitimization for what is illegal. Okay, Mr. President. And I would like to carry on, Mr. President. You're trying to persuade your people that believe in you, who are less educated, I would say voters, that the only one to run the country, obviously, is you. So you're putting yourself as a messiah. I am the messiah. Against all things going on in the sub-Saharan region in Ivory Coast, against all the uncertainty, the financial, the economic, and the terrorist threat, I am the messiah. I'm the one that can run the country, can save Ivory Coast. You referred during your speech to the 2020 election when you decided to give transfer power to a new generation. Yes, you actually did, Mr. Ouattara. You transferred it to Mr. Gon, late Mr. Gon, rest in peace. But sadly, he passed away a few months before the election. But we remember as clearly as yesterday, that you said you had half a dozen from your circle, intellectual, powerful, able to run the country. But when Mr. Gon passed away, we sadly did not see you picking anyone from the half a dozen that you promised us. And you came back, you backtracked by saying that you had to run because you had no choice. Mr. Ouattara, this is a break of your word. You are therefore not credible because credibility is sticking to your word. You broke your word. You said something and you do something else. How would you want Ivorian to believe in what you said, Mr. Ouattara? This is my question. So, you carried on again, you carry on further by saying, on the 2 minutes 14 seconds, in my entire leadership career as a head of state, I had always believed and stuck to my word. End quote. You sell yourself here as an honest person. Yeah, because you need to do that to justify the fact that, first of all, when your pick, when you pick Mr. Gonwood Koulibaly after he passed away, you broke your promises. So here you have to insert in this speech the fact that you have to insert that saying you stick to your word, but you clearly know you do not stick to your word. Okay, you clearly know this, Mr. Ouattara. So you're selling yourself as an honest person. But what does Ivorian people think of you, Mr. Watara? That is the question, Mr. Watara. Okay, so when we carried on, you clearly said that, okay? At the back of your mind, you said what you said, and I'll quote it again. Quote, in my entire leadership career as a head of state, I'd always believed and stuck to my word, end quote. So by saying that, Mr. Watara, you had in mind the Ivorian people listening to you on that day are truly not believing what you said, because otherwise you wouldn't say it, okay? But again, as I said, 5 years ago, you did not stick to your word. What would make them believe you stick to your word this time around? Okay, you quickly followed on minute 2:33 seconds. I quote, many years as head of state have made me understand that the call of duty can relegate on the right promises previously made in good faith. You see, Mr. Watara, again, by using this passage, you are trying to solidify what you just said. You're trying to show Ivorian people that I am an honest person. Here, you did not use the word honesty, but in this line that just quote, you used the word faith. Now, why did you use the word faith? You could have used the word goodwill, but you used the word faith. Because you clearly know, Mr. Watara, as I do, you know that faith carry a religious kind of flair, Mr. Watara. So use the word faith here, okay, as an act of repentance. You're trying to tell Ivorian, yes, on several occasions in the past, I did not stick to my word. But I would like to tell you this time, I will stick to my word. I would like to repent. So that's why you use the word faith. And you did not do that because you chose the word at random. The word faith is not used randomly here. You know why you choose the word faith, Mr. Watara. You chose the word faith because, again, not only it's got religious flair, but you're trying to manipulate your audience knowingly, on purpose. Okay? You clearly know that 85% of Ivorian people are religious, altogether from all denominations. So by using the word faith here, you're attracting the sympathy, Mr. Watara. In the same logic, this can strongly interpreted from the Bible as he, without a sin, can cast the first stone. End quote. This is what you're trying to say. You're trying to tell Ivorian people, I am not holy. I am not perfect. Like no one is perfect. But please allow me to run again for a fourth term. Do not hold me for my trespasses, for backing down on my promises. Instead, see me as someone who now is in front of you and take my word for what they are. This is what you're trying to say, Mr. Watara. It's very clever. I like this speech because this speech is a very clever speech. There you're trying to bail yourself out, to buy time, to tell Ivorian people to give you a fourth Monday. You carried on and you assert this idea of divine candidacy, the Messiah, by saying, and I quote, on minute 3:31 seconds, you said the following, quote, I'm candidate because the Constitution allows me. I'm candidate because I'm in good health. I'm candidate because Ivory Coast face unprecedented economic and financial experience, financial situation. Okay? Here, we see the word, 3 times use the word, I am. I am here can be referred to if we carry on the religious theme. I am is a trinity. I am, and I am. You said it 3 times. So, I am, okay? I am the candidate. I am in good health. I'm the only one experienced to deal with the financial and economic situation. So, Mr. Watara, and you're showing that you are the protector of Ivorian people. So you're using I am 3 times as a trinity. Now, Mr. Watara, you're trying to make us believe, and I quote from the Bible, God so loved Ivory Coast that he only sent his unique son to send a leader called Mr. Watara to reign over Ivory Coast indefinitely. Because that's what you're trying to say. So God so loved Ivory Coast that he sent his unique leader called Mr. Watara to reign over Ivory Coast. Indefinitely. That's what you're trying to say, Mr. Ouattara. So, President Ouattara, through your speech, you're trying to sell to your followers who one of your closest ally, one of your closest official, refer to them as sheep. He said, we are sheep. People say, we sheep. But this word sheep was not picked randomly. Your official knew why he used the word sheep. And for my audience, you can find this page of this official on YouTube. His name is Sise Bakongo, is a minister. He referred to all followers of Mr. Ouattara as sheep. But why would an intellectual, is a doctor in law, why would he use the word sheep to qualify himself and other people that follow Mr. Ouattara? Simple. He used the word sheep because, again, as I said, if you use the divine, the religious context, they see Mr. Ouattara as the shepherd. And when we talk about shepherd, we talk about Jesus. We talk about the Messiah. So Mr. Ouattara, for these people, for the RHDP party, Mr. Ouattara is a shepherd and they are the sheep. He's the shepherd that will take them to green pastures. So they see Mr. Ouattara as a shepherd. In conclusion, through your 5 minutes 20 seconds, President Ouattara dwells on fear. He used the fear factor. If you do not vote for me, I'm an experienced person, the economy in Ivory Coast might crash down. The threat of terrorists might come to Ivory Coast and we might lose everything we built. Okay, I'm here as your protector. So he's injecting fear into Ivorian to make his message understood by Ivorian, to make Ivorian accept his candidacy for a 4th term. So, Mr. Ouattara here fails on many occasions to prepare a successor. Yes, 2020, your successor died, unfortunate situation. But what about 2020 onward, when you do the 3rd term? You could have prepared someone to take power. But Mr. Ouattara, you did not. You did not. You failed to prepare your successor. So, I would like you, personally, to say, with high respect for you, intellectual, top intellectual, you work very hard. You work hard for Ivory Coast. You actually did some project, and we acknowledge that. But I think it's time for you, Mr. Ouattara, to just close the curtain. The show that you run is over. Close the curtain. And all the honors of a past loved president will be given to you by anyone that will come to power. You are a very much loved president. But if you dwell in power by force, I'm afraid that this love that Ivorian have for you might probably disappear. So President Ouattara, you're my president. And with all due respect, consideration, you are Ivorian as everyone in Ivory Coast. You love your country like we all do. I would say it's time to go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all my subscribers. And I hope Mr. Ouattara get to listen to this message. That'd be great. Thank you. And see you another time. Bye-bye.